there, this is Tate, and welcome to the Jocelyn Time Post Show. It is Monday, February 19th, 2024. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. So tonight's Raw was the go-home show to the Elimination Chamber, and quite a few things happened. So tonight's main event was going to be for the IC title, Gunther versus Jey Uso. Jey Uso is on a quest to win his first singles gold here in the WWE, while Gunther's reign is continuing. I think he recently surpassed Pedro Morales as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. Yeah, okay, yeah, I just said that. Yeah, he made history. So, earlier in the night, we had Jey Uso, he came with his sunglasses and he was talking about how the wait is over and he brings down the empire and ends the reign of the longest reigning IC champion in history. And, he takes off his glasses and says, Yeet. Gunther also talked about how he was going to crush Jey. So let's talk about this main event. This main event was a really great match. I liked it. I thought it was an incredible match, and Gunther was just chopping Jey. He chopped him, hit him with the backbreaker. He did a clothesline of Boston Crab. Jey was just taking a beating here. You could hear Gunther yell at Jey as well. Pat McAfee said that Jey hit Gunther with a total of 5 spears. Now, during this match, as Jey was pinning Gunther, somebody was ringing the bell. You saw someone in a black hoodie and they were just ringing the bell and ended up being Jimmy. So with that distraction, Gunther took advantage and he successfully retained the IC title against Jey. Afterwards, Jimmy attacked Jey. He super kicked him. He yelled at him and said that no matter how big Jey gets, he's always going to be the big brother. He mocked Jey. He did 2 Uso splashes. So obviously this is going to set up brother versus brother at WrestleMania. Longest combined right now, I believe. Damn you, Jimmy. Hey, Io. So I think that's where this is going. It's not the first time Jimmy cost Jey a title match. Now he cost him the tag titles as well. He cost him a victory against Roman Reigns. It's not the first time. There's history there. And if built correctly, this is going to be a really great story for them to tell leading up to WrestleMania. But overall, I thought this was a fantastic main event. And I kind of feel like Jey could have potentially won. Gunther reminds me of Jeff versus Matt Hardy. Yeah, Jeff versus Matt, you mentioned that. I feel like Jey Uso could have potentially won, but they probably didn't want it. They were probably held off on it, and that's why they had this, because maybe they want maybe they'll revisit Gunther versus Jey. That's probably why it wasn't a clean pin. But this was a really great match. So tonight's Monday Night Raw, I knew Jimmy was costing Jey the match. Yeah, it made the most sense. Kicked off with a banger of Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. Now the question is, what is the Gunther doing for Mania? That is a great question. With his match being scrapped against Lesnar, do we revisit Gunther versus Chad Gable? I think maybe we might get Gunther versus Braun Breaker, especially if Braun Breaker replaced Lesnar in the Rumble. We could potentially get that. So Raw kicked off with the banger Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. And this was an incredible opening to Monday Night Raw. This was a really great match. I really like that Glasgow kiss that Drew McIntyre did to Cody, and then a Future Shock DDT. Maybe Gunther versus Sami at Mania. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. So now during this match, Jimmy Uso caused a distraction. And so give me 1 second, guys. Now, during this match, Jimmy Uso caused a distraction, and Solo Sikoa hit Cody Rhodes with the Samoan spike, and like Drew McIntyre was just watching this. He was watching this unfold, and he took advantage of the distraction and hit Cody Rhodes with the Claymore. Now, you hear Michael Cole on commentary call Drew McIntyre a hypocrite because for the last 2 years, he's been complaining about how the Bloodline interfered in his match and cost him the title. Yet here, they interfered in his match and he took advantage of the distraction. Surprised Sokoa wasn't out there for Jey and Gunther, right? That was a surprising. And Adam Pearce, no disrespect to him, but he does not do as good of a job as Nick Aldis keeping control of Monday Night Raw. I mean, why didn't he do something? He should do something for Jimmy and Solo Sikoa. So Cody Rhodes, let me see. I guess it only matters for Drew if he gets the benefit, right? That's true. So, let me see. Pierce lets the animals run right on Raw. He does. So, after this, we get Cody Rhodes goes backstage. He's getting checked on. And then Cody tells Adam Pearce he's fine. And then Rollins kind of just shows up and he like taps his thigh. So, it seems like Cody Rhodes is kind of like, he's going to need help to take down the Bloodline. I feel like a type of Seth, you may throw Jey in that mix. First time since Cody got pinned. Yes, Michael Cole alluded to that Drew McIntyre is the first person since Roman Reigns to pin Cody Rhodes. Maybe Sami Zayn gets involved in there. Maybe the entire, the Survivor Series team that Cody Rhodes led to victory will help him, overcome the Bloodline. So we'll have to wait and see. But maybe even Kevin Owens gets involved somehow, some way. But I definitely do see Sami Zayn also getting involved in the mix as well. Okay. So we get an Andrade Vignette. And give me 1 second. Okay, we get an Andrade Vignette, and he's basically talking about how he's a third-generation luchador. He talks about his father, grandfather, uncles, cousins, and even mentions his wife. And if you notice closely, when he said his wife, he like has this huge grin on his face. Charlotte is his wife. And I love the fact that they mixed in Spanish in this Vignette, kind of like how they had Nakamura cut promos in Japanese. They had Andrade here do English and Spanish. When I met Andrade at WrestleCon last year, he spoke to me in English, but I responded in Spanish, and we did that tranquilo post. So in Spanish, he says que he controla su destino y tengo cuenta de todo lo que he logrado y todo lo que voy a lograr. Basically, he says that he controls his destiny and he's realized everything he's accomplished and everything he will accomplish. So really love that they had the English subtitles. I cannot wait to see who Andrade's first feud is. So I'm really excited about that. What did you guys think of this Andrade segment and this Andrade Vignette? Are you guys excited that he's back? With the women's last chance battle royal here. And I really like the fact, let me see, I like these promos from Andrade, right? They're really good. And I really like the fact that, like, for those of you who don't know, they were in Anaheim, and Anaheim, California is the home of Disneyland. And Chelsea Green came out with, like, because if you've never been to Disneyland, you can get Mickey Mouse ears. Hope Andrade will face Santos Escobar one day. I think he will. I think that they're just waiting till Charlotte gets back so they can send him to SmackDown. Smiley Raquel and her Colgate teeth return. Glad he's using the Idolo name. Same here. So if you've never been to Disneyland, you could do mouse ears with like your name or any type of thing that you want. And she had these pink mouse ears with her name. So like that was really cool because I don't know how far Disneyland is from the Honda Center, but it's in that area. Disneyland's in that area. if you've never been to Disneyland. I heard Walt Disney World is bigger though. It was Minnie Mouse ears. Yeah, Minnie Mouse ears. So this battle royal marked the grand return of Raquel Rodriguez, who we haven't seen since last year. And the final three ended up being Raquel, Shayna, and Zoe Stark. Now, I feel really bad for Indy Hartwell because she's Australian and she's not going to get the chance to compete in her home country of Australia. Her and Jonah are not going to get that opportunity, and it sucks. Yeah, Disney World is huge. Wish I can go back. Oh, okay. I've never been to Walt Disney World. So, out of all the Australians they have, only Rhea Ripley's performing, and Grayson Waller is doing the Waller effect with Cody and Seth Rollins. I was mad. Indy could have won. Yeah, I feel like she should have. I mean, I know Jonah. I think Jonah's wife. Jonah. I was thinking back to his TNA Impact days. I think Bronson Reed's wife is expecting their first child, so I think that's why he didn't go. But they could have at least thrown Indy in there. And so, not enough Australian representation on a pay-per-view that's being broadcast from Australia. So, no lie, when Chelsea Green came back into the ring at the end, because she was the final two with Raquel Rodriguez, I kind of thought, okay, maybe she's going to win. But because, this was Raquel's big match return, of course, Raquel Rodriguez won this. And so she is going to be in the Elimination Chamber. We get a Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax interview. And basically, it's like a sit-down interview. And, Rhea said that she has to remind herself she's Rhea Bloody Ripley and is the most dominant woman in WWE. I guarantee the Aussies won't forget this. They probably won't. I mean, they don't. Who else is Australian? I know when they originally did Super Showdown back in 2018, they still had Buddy Matthews. The Iconics were still there. So I don't know who else. I can't think of anybody else. So Nia says that she's happy this match is taking place in Australia because when she squashes Rhea, she will go crying to her mommy. And then Rhea tells Nia that she's going to see her in Perth, and she gets up and walks away. So it's an okay segment between them. We end our truth segment. And Homeboy was standing outside. For those of you who don't know, it's raining here in SoCal. And he was out there with a freaking poncho. Our truth cracks me up. And he said that when he first met Judgement Day, their smiles lit up the room. I was like, what are you talking about? And I've never seen The Sopranos, but I know who Tony Soprano is. So he makes a reference to the Ducks leaving Tony Soprano. I'm not sure when that happened on the show, because like I said, I've never seen The Sopranos before. But he calls Damian Priest his duck. I was like, oh my God. Nothing wrong with wearing a poncho. Yeah, definitely. He said that it was magical, like the first time John Cena tried on a pair of jean shorts. And he hasn't cried his heart since the finale of This Is Us. I've never seen This Is Us, so I don't know how sad the finale is. But if you've seen This Is Us, let me know in the live chat in the comment section. He mentions how the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and the Cerebral Assassin Triple H are going to show Judgment that you can't bully and silence someone, and they can't keep Nick Mysterio locked up away from without access to Facebook. This is hilarious because when he meets by DX, he's actually talking about DIY. They saved him last week, and he called them. He mistook them for DX, which I thought was hilarious. I never seen This Is Heard It's a Great Show. Same here. I've heard about that, but I've never seen it either. So I feel bad for Truth, but I didn't know whether to laugh or be sad. I mean, R-Truth is so hilarious. He's one of the comedy kings of wrestling, the other two being Johnny Swinger and Orange Cassidy. So UFC fighter Michael Chandler talks to the crowd. There was a lot of people in attendance. Even the Netflix people were there too. And he basically calls out Conor McGregor, and they made it a point to show the WrestleMania sign. I don't know if something's gonna go down with UFC at WrestleMania, or if they're just doing that because of this whole, cross promotion thing going on here. But that seemed really noticeable. I mean, they made it a point to show that WrestleMania sign hanging over Michael Chandler's head. Gargano being compared to Shawn Michaels is the best compliment Johnny could get. So we get Chad Gable and Ivar basically talking about their match backstage. And, Gable says he's going to put an end to Ivar and he's going to leave his crew in the back. I know we get an 8-man tag match. It's Awesome Truth and DIY versus the Judgment Day. DIY and Awesome Truth did the DX chop out when they came into the ring, and Judgment Day is just outside the ring looking at them like, did they start lines in UFC's events next? I bet Dana White will lose it. Or he probably would. So I thought this was kind of a fun match here. I like when all 8 men entered the ring and kind of all hell broke loose. And then it's very fitting that Truth and Damian Priest were left alone in the ring with the South of Heaven chokeslam. Damian Priest defeated pinned R-Truth, and so Judgment Day was victorious. I still think this is going to lead to Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor versus Awesome Truth at WrestleMania, either night 1 or night 2 for those tag titles. The Awesome Truth are the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to Judgment Day's Usos. So I think that's the way. I honestly think Finn Balor and Damian Priest are going to defeat Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and their WrestleMania match is going to be against Awesome Truth. Whether we get new tag belts is still my question, and whether they split the tag titles is another question of mine. So we just got to wait and see. I think the tag team division is big enough that you can split the tag titles, but if you're not going to split the tag titles, we need more of a balance between each brand, because Judgment Day spends all their time on Raw. Yeah, their next feud is with a SmackDown team, but we haven't really seen much of an interaction with a Judgment Day like we did until this past Friday when Dominic interrupted Bate and Dunne. I think Awesome Truth is going to win the titles, and it's going to be a memorable moment for R-Truth. I think so too. So Sami Zayn gets interviewed, and he basically feels like he has to hit a pause button to McIntyre. He can't move forward. He says that it's WrestleMania season and there's a path for him to go to WrestleMania. He will be a contender and a champion. So I could see Sami Zayn being inserted in Rollins versus Drew McIntyre there. But like someone said earlier, maybe Sami Zayn versus Gunther. I feel like Sami Zayn is also going to get involved in the Cody Rhodes storyline. He's probably going to help because, he was also screwed over by the bloodline. So I'm very curious to see what Sami Zayn's ultimate direction is for WrestleMania. We get a Becky Lynch in-ring promo / segment. So this starts off being a promo about how she's entering the Elimination Chamber for the first time. I really like the fact that she calls Judgment Day truth haters because, they're hating on R-Truth. And then little by little, all the women involved in the Elimination Chamber come out. First is Liv Morgan. And I actually really liked what Liv Morgan had to say. She talks about how she's a big fan of Becky's hat because Becky said that, that's a new hat. But she wasn't a fan of sitting in the back and listening to Becky explain why she should face Rhea WrestleMania. Now, Liv Morgan brings up the fact that she and Rhea were tag team partners until Rhea Ripley betrayed her. And basically, Liv Morgan's story is about revenge and redemption. She says that Rhea not only cost her not get the tag titles, but also 6 months of her career. She was the last person to pin Rhea Ripley. And this segment was your typical WWE 101 where all the women in the chamber get involved and then a bra yawn. So Raquel comes out next, and she does make a point to say that they're all focusing on Rhea. Yeah, they kind of don't talk about Nia Jax as much. Then Naomi comes out, and, Becky welcomes her back. And she talks about how she didn't just come back to come back. She made a name for herself and is there to climb her way back to the top. That is true. I've mentioned this on this show before. If you've watched TNA Impact, although most of you probably haven't, Naomi went over to TNA. She became Knockout champion. She had an incredible run as Knockout champion. She even had her first intergender match in TNA when she faced off against Jey Uso. She beat the Vuchosa Diana Purrazzo not once, not twice, but 3 times. She had an incredible run as Knockout champion. Shout out to Trinity. TNA helped Naomi. Exactly. She ended up dropping that title to Jordynne Grace at Hard to Kill. I was at Hard to Kill. I have the footage of Jordynne Grace defeating Trinity at Hard to Kill on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But she had such an amazing run. I highly recommend you guys check it out. She even defeated Mickie James during her run with TNA Impact. So check out some of her matches, her versus Mickie James, her versus Diana, all 3 of Diana Purrazzo matches, including her versus Jordynne Grace, her versus Jey Uso. So she had a really great run. And then Tiffany Stratton also interrupts. You see where I'm going here. Like, everybody eventually comes out and Bra breaks out, Nia Jax comes on, takes everyone out. So this was an okay segment. I did like some parts of this, but I also kind of disliked. I kind of feel like this went on a little too long. So we had Chad Gable versus Ivar, which was a really, really great match. I mean, I really like that spot where they did that sunset flip and then put him in the ankle lock. Or that other spot where Ivar attempted to do the cross body, but Chad Gable rolled out of the way, so he collided with the LED boards. And then the finale, Chad Gable did the moonsault to an ankle lock, and he ended up winning by submission. So, that was a really great match. All right. So, we get a Drew McIntyre interview. He calls himself the savior of WrestleMania. He says he's the second person to pin Cody. He says that he wanted to attack Jimmy and Solo, but he thought of the bigger picture and wasn't being selfish. And is the true workhorse of the WWE. So a little interesting interview there with Drew McIntyre. He's doing the best work of his career. So I would not mind if he beats Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So we get a New Day segment. And they're basically talking about how they're going to put an end to the Imperium. And next week, it's going to be a street fight. And they pull out these kendo sticks. So I'm going to stop there because I already talked about the main event. So overall, I thought this was a pretty decent Raw. There were things I liked. There were little things I disliked. The women's segment, I felt like it was your typical, like Michael said, it was your typical booking. 7 out of 10 decent show. Stay tuned for I'm not reviewing NXT tomorrow night. I'm going to review NXT. I got to get 1,000 subscribers first. If this would have been just your average run-of-the-mill Monday Night Raw, I definitely would have given this an 8 out of 10. But this was not just your run-of-the-mill average Raw. This is the go-home show to Elimination Chamber. And I've always felt that the go-home show is supposed to help you sell the pay-per-view and get you excited for the pay-per-view. I honestly feel like the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is kind of a throwaway pay-per-view. I'm not excited for the pay-per-view. Decent show was sold out. I'm really surprised that it got packed considering it was raining. Drew's definitely winning. 1K subs will be an awesome moment. Yes, 1K subs you review. And I said if I get 1,000 subscribers, I would only review the PLEs and the specials. I would not review NXT every week. And because of that, I cannot give this an 8 out of 10 because this is the go-home show. This show was supposed to sell me Elimination Chamber, and I didn't even think. I'm not even excited for Elimination Chamber. This didn't even. Yeah, it was a great Raw. But by itself, like I said, if this episode happened next week, great. 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. But like I said, this is supposed to sell you Elimination Chamber. This is supposed to get you excited for Elimination Chamber. And nothing that really happened got me excited for Elimination Chamber here. So unfortunately, I'm going to be a little generous and give it a 7.5 because it was a pretty good Raw, but it just didn't do a good job at selling me Elimination Chamber. What about you guys? You guys excited for Elimination Chamber this weekend? Are you staying up? Are you guys going to wake up early? Let me know in the live chat or in the comment section. I will not be watching Elimination Chamber live because it's on at 2 a.m. for me. So with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. If I get to 1,000 subscribers by Monday, March 4th, I review NXT Roadblock. If not, you guys can forget it. Let me see. I'm excited for No Surrender. Yeah, I'm definitely more excited about Impact's TNA's No Surrender than I am about Elimination Chamber. Peace. So with that being said, I'll see you guys Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. Bye.